Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode on Claude Code. Well, it's finally here. Anthropic has just announced Claude Code for the web and for iOS as well. Now you can literally continue working on your projects while you're away from your computer. Or the best part is that you can actually do everything on your phone natively. If you've actually seen one of my previous videos on how Codex Web and the ChatGPT app basically allow you to do just that, you understand why this is such a game changer. So now Claude has joined the party and it's time to take a look at how well it does it. In this video, I'll show you step by step on how to use Claude Code on the web, how it syncs seamlessly to mobile, and I'll be working on a full stack application that I've been building for the past couple of episodes. I'll show you how well it works when it comes to creating a new feature as well as debugging a certain issue. And make sure you stick around till the end because there is a secret command hidden in all of this that no one has been talking about. And trust me, this one will blow your mind. Now, before we jump straight in, you might want to check out my AI-oriented Insiders Club. It is completely free to join, and it's a place where I provide resources and lesson plans for all of the videos that I've been publishing so far. Not only that, I give midweek updates and try to share latest news that's been going on. And if you want to take it a step further, you might want to check out my Claude Code Builder Pack. This is a complete workflow toolkit that will help you to level up in how you use Claude Code. It contains all of the source code, documentation, commands, agents, sample applications, and pretty much everything that I've published and talk about in my entire series of Claude Code. It's really helped lots of people get up and running and getting the best out of Claude Code. So if you'd like to also accelerate your ability to use Claude Code, check out the Claude Code Builder Pack in the link in the description below. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's actually take a look at how we're going to connect this to the web now. So if you just go to claude.ai and go to the left-hand side, you see there's actually a new code button here. And right over here, you can say code with Claude anywhere. I'm going to actually very quickly open this up on the phone as well, as you can see over here. If you go over here and you just do code, it's the same thing, right? You can see this connect with GitHub. All right, so I'm actually just going to do it on the web here. So it's a little bit easier because I've got all my credentials. I'm going to authorize it and okay, great. Set up your default Claude environment. So it has a trusted network access, download packages, no network access or custom access. Let's just go with trusted network access first. So first thing I noticed is that it actually has a lot of repositories that I don't remember actually granting access to. So that's interesting. But I actually have a specific one which I'm looking for, which is for the builder pack for the Claudometer. So if this is not showing up for you, you can actually just go to install GitHub app, make sure that this is running. This should pull this up. And I'm going to do select repositories. This is what I prefer to do. And then I'm going to do builder pack CC Claudometer, which is the one I want. And while this is happening, I'll actually love to see if what's going on with this one that allowed it to have access to everything. So I did give it only access to these few ones. So I'm actually quite interested to know how it was able to actually pull all of the other repositories. But anyway, let's actually give this a try now. And let's do, all right, so this is the one I want, builder pack CC Claudometer. And just as a quick overview of what this project is, I actually built this Claudometer project in one of my early videos. So you want to check it out if you want to see how I built this from single PLD file using subagents. And then when this was completed, I actually built the top keywords feature using Claude Code Skills, which is another new feature from Claude Code. And there's also a separate video on how I did that. But the idea here is that it is a full stack application and it uses OpenAI's API to perform sentiment analysis and study all of the comments across these 3 different subreddits over here. Okay, so I guess one of the things that I want to just test this out right now on Claude, I just want to see whether this can actually just help me spruce it up a little bit, because even though it's using ShardCN components, I would say the design is not the best. So I'm going to say, help me to uplift the app such that it looks nicer, modern, and uses better theme. Okay, so let's just give this a shot and I'm just going to kick this off and we'll see how this actually turns out. All right, so it says turn on notifications. Yeah, why not? And there's other ways that you can actually do notifications. You can actually use hooks. And I have another video on that if you actually want to see how you can actually get hold of notifications on your phone. But because this is happening in the cloud, it'll be really interesting to see how this does. All right, so you can see it's really starting its work and I can see a couple of things that we have here, right? So it's actually created a branch called Modernized App Design. Great, automatically we can probably create a PR after this, and then we can open it up in the CLI over here. So let's just take a look at this on the phone. If I switch over to the code section, you can actually see this is actually synchronized with what's happening on the web. All right, so I can jump in here. You can see this is actually happening live on the phone as well, right? Based on what's happening here. And it's actually pretty synced up, all right? We can see that we are at this stage where it's doing a bunch of checks and listing the files in a directory. So the great thing here is that we're going to be able to work on this on the phone as well. So this is really good. And it'll be really interesting to see how this, when we do this open up in CLI and create PR and all this other stuff, and how it actually turns out. But we're just going to let this run to completion, and then we'll see how this thing turns out. All right, so it's been running for a while now. It's actually identified the full picture of the current design and it's creating a modern design specification. So this looks like it's still running. So in the meantime, what I decided to do was to try to deploy this on Vercel. And what we see here is that there's an error. So I thought it would be a good chance to actually test how good Claude Code is at resolving some of these errors. So I'm just going to jump back into the code environment here, and I'm going to say when I deploy this on Vercel, I get the following error, and I'm going to just paste everything here. And I say fix this. I have already set the environment variables and the application root directory. And let's see if it actually can fix this. Because the good thing about it already being linked in Vercel is that if it's able to fix this and then I can create a pull request, I should be able to get a preview deployment. So let's just see how this one runs. In addition to actually asking it to do a full feature, we're going to be able to see whether it's going to be able to fix the issue. So you can see here it's actually trying to build the application, but the Prisma client hasn't been generated yet. And it needs to actually run this. So I am going to think that it's probably a case where I might need to adjust my Vercel settings actually, but it's going to actually do it within the package.json. This will allow us to not have to modify the Vercel build settings. Instead, it's just going to modify the package and then run a script. So I can see that it says that it added a post install script. Fantastic. Before I do that, I'm actually going to create the PR. Okay, and then it's already populated with a good title, and it's probably taken it from the commit actually. So I'm going to just create a pull request. It then says that there was a deployment error. So let's actually just see what has happened here. So let's just view the details of why this deployment has failed. And then it says here that, okay, so there's another compilation error here. So as we all do, we're just going to take this and I'm just going to jump back here and say there is a new error. Right. So I thought maybe what we could do is actually do this on the phone. So this is the one that we're doing. So I'm going to say there is still an error, new one, and then I'm just going to copy and paste the error here. Okay, so that's happening on the phone. And you can see there's a direct link to what's happening on the web, which is really cool. So actually, like, it's really directly in sync here. And let's see whether it's going to be able to actually deal with this error. Maybe while this is happening, we can jump back here. It's still going and still creating the modern design template. It says starting Claude Code down here, which makes me think maybe this one has reached a stage where it's blocked, or maybe there's something going on. So we might have to stop this and ask it to continue. In fact, I might actually do this now and say interrupt, and I say, please continue where you were left off. And maybe there was something to do with the environment. So let's just see what's happening there. And jumping back here. All right, so it's identified the issue over here. And then once this is done and committed, we should automatically see a new deployment popping up over here. All right, so this branch is related to this PR, and you can see this latest fix by Claude has come through. And so this is really good, right? Because, I've not actually touched my code editor at all so far, right? Up until now, everything's just been done on the web and on my phone. And this is just a really good workflow because it means that I'm actually going to be able to test this out without needing to actually be in my editor. Let's see how we're doing here. All right. And there's definitely an error here. So let's just see what's going on here. That's going to do it. Okay, so now we have yet another error. So we're going to do this, and this time it builds just fine. But when I go onto the deployment URL, it gets. And let's just do that. Okay, like I said, it's really useful to be able to just do everything in the web without needing to go back into the editor. All right, so I suspect this is to do with the deployment configuration. So there's app, and then there's, all right, so it should be in the app. And I think I've already configured that, but maybe it's not picking it up properly within the application. All right, so let's actually see what's going on here. All right, and I'm just going to try to redeploy this actually. So I'm going to say I want to redeploy this. and then do it as a preview. All right, so it is actually looking correct now. So I think it was because I didn't set the Next.js app correctly. So now if you pull this up, all right, and you can see that it has actually deployed. I suspect that some of the environment variables have not been set correctly, which is why this has not populated as expected. But we can probably very easily fix that by adjusting the environment variables, but at least it's deployed correctly now. This is the workflow that I can see. Just jumping back, has this been very useful just to ask it questions and then also to jump straight into pull requests and then taking it from that to get a preview deployment. So that's really cool. And we just let this continue running and then we'll actually see if this ends up finishing up the design so that we can actually take stock. All right, so it seems that this Claude session has completed with the modernization changes. But before I'm going to do that, I'm actually going to merge in the changes from this pull request here that we've been actually looking at. So if you actually want to see, I've managed to get the deployment working now. So let's look at the preview deployment. Everything is working fine. You can see this is being hosted on Vercel and all of the sentiment tracking is working. It's connecting to the database and the keywords are being tracked as well. And now that this is all running, I actually feel comfortable that I can actually merge this in. So I'm just going to merge this pull request in, all right, into the main repository, because that will then allow me to actually deploy the other changes that we have over here. All right, so just go back here and I'm going to say that merge in changes from main required for this to be deployed. Okay, so let's actually get this going here. And while this is running, I'm actually really interested to see what this open CLI actually does. So let's just jump. So I'll just jump back into Visual Studio Code, and I've never seen this before. So Claude Teleport session, I'm going to see what is actually going on right over here. And cool. All right. So this is actually really cool. If you use Teleport, it actually grabs all of the session information from the Cloud Run into your local session over here. And that's really cool. I actually never thought about this working in this way. So it actually allows you to actually get all the information. And because of this, I'm actually also able to see that it was actually using my sub-agent as part of the Cloud Run as well. And that's actually a very interesting thing, because I actually wonder when you're running it on the web, whether or not it's actually going to be able to utilize the sub-agents as part of its run as well. And now I know that it does. So this is really good. And so let's actually just jump back in here and I can see that as part of merging in the changes, there was a small little issue here. So I'm going to say merge. I'm going to say merge in changes from main. Okay, so I'm going to just re-kick this off again. And I think this is actually a really cool functionality that it has here. This teleport functionality, really interesting. And I never expected it to be able to work in this way. This is just something that I've just learned. And while this is running, and now I can see that it's running and is merging the changes from main, so that it's going to be able to do that, and then it's going to push this up. I wonder if I hop out now and just teleport back into the session again. Let's see what happens. All right, you can see, and this is where it is, right? I'll merge the latest changes from main. It's put all of the session information that you see over here. So we've managed to merge in the changes from main into the feature branch, and this is actually really cool. So I think this is actually one of the notable things that you're actually able to pick up from a session right from the Claude Web itself. I'm actually really impressed with this, and let's actually see if this is now going to be able to kick off a preview deployment. So I'm going to click on this here, and this one was deployed successfully. So let's actually just see what's going on here. So it says deployed, and let's actually just take a look at this right over here. And here you go. Okay, so there has definitely been a change in the visual. So it's used this teal green color. All right, and everything here seems to be working. All right, so it's got this teal green color. It's gotten the sentiment analysis. One of the things that I didn't note is that the keywords seems to have disappeared, even though the analysis here is fine. The sentiment is coming, and we can see that the keywords were also showing up earlier. And I think there might be a small little bug, which is why the keywords do not show for the individual subreddits. That is not the Cloud AI one. All right, but overall, you can see that the changes that they made, even though I asked for a massive visual uplift, didn't actually change too much of the overall look. This is one of the things that I've noticed about Claude, is that whenever it comes to visual design, I find that Codex and GPT-5 does a lot better. But it could be that I wasn't doing this correctly, or maybe the sub-agent that it was utilizing was not the appropriate one, because usually that one's used in the design phase and not the implementation phase where you're making changes. So something to know about, it seems that when on the web, it does make use of the sub-agents that you have, and I'm wondering whether it makes use of the skills as well. So more investigation definitely needed, but hopefully this video has been useful to show you the entire flow of how you would go about utilizing both the phone, using the web, and using this teleport function as well, which I wasn't even aware about. So I think this is definitely in the right direction. I think one thing that's missing that I'd love to see is to be able to do 4 different runs or 3 or 4 different runs of the same task so that you can compare and contrast. All right, so that's it for today's video. Hopefully this is giving you a good overview of the Claude Code's latest web and iOS feature. I think this is a step in the right direction. It's going to open up a lot of possibilities for you to be able to be productive, and looking forward to seeing what more comes from the Anthropic team. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so that you're always the first to know whenever new content like this drops. And if you actually want to look at how I went about using Claude Code's new skills feature to actually build an entire integration with the keywords, if you want to check out this video, it tells you everything that you need to know about how to utilize skills in Claude Code. All right, I'll see you next time.